Residential care was really hard because at the end of the day there's like 8 traumatised kids with yourself that's traumatised. Inconsistent shifts all the time, different people coming and going.
Being stolen from, being bullied, and not feeling comfortable in care.
Just really hard because you don't have a choice of who you're chucked in with. You kind of just put into a group, whether it works or not, that you just got to kind of go with it.
I guess the best way to think of an incident is where someone's safety could be jeopardised or compromised. So it's a high risk situation where someone could be harming themselves, harming somebody else. It could be a high level of property damage.
An example could be someone throwing a chair. Another example could be breaking a remote or punching a wall because you're upset.
I can remember a pool ball, like a pool table ball being thrown through a window in Resi Care. Just constant fights. There's lots of fights and lots of cops coming in.
Usually there will be at least one young person. Sometimes there may be more young people who may not always be part of the incident, but they may actually be there at the time and witness it.
After an incident occurs, like I would recommend to kids to debrief about it, talk to somebody about it.
If an incident like that occurs, I suggest that you do talk about it and you do communicate it with a trusted worker.
It's important to speak up because it helps get issues resolved so they don't happen again.
If you don't talk, it's not resolved, you know. At the end of the day, talking about it is what gets it off your chest, so you're not still angry every time that you see that worker, or you're not still hurting, or you're not still feeling the same way that you did.
So we have a form that's called a post-incident reflection form, and that's actually a requirement by law that a young person is given the opportunity to fill in the form. It's actually their right to have a say about what happened in their own words.
The reflection form for an incident report is getting your own emotions and your own views of what happened in that time out on the paperwork. Like, it's just relaying your story instead of what the worker says or what somebody else saw.
The post-incident reflection form has actually had some input from young people in residential care, and some of the questions there are fairly straightforward. Can you remember what happened? How are you feeling? Who was involved?
I don't know, it's worth filling out this form because you get validated and you can express your own feelings and emotions in this form.
I think one of the really important things for young people in residential care to understand is that it might seem like they're not heard and that people aren't listening, but we really are. And the more young people that use this form to have a voice, the louder their voices become. The Charter of Rights, I think, is really crucial for young people to know about. It's important for them to know that they do have rights. They do have rights to lots of different things. So the Charter of Rights really explains to young people what their rights are, who they can speak to, and if they're not happy, what they can do about that as well. It's really important that young people in care know what their rights are so that they can advocate for themselves. They know that they have a right to be heard, they have a right to be safe, they have a right to respect.
At the end of the day, knowing your rights makes the environment a safer place. Like, you can contest the behaviour that happens in care if you know your rights. Living in care, I didn't know that you could make a complaint at any time, even though that there isn't incident or anything. And there's multiple people that you can complain to, and they're there to support you.
So young people have a right to complain at any time. It's not only after an incident or if there's been something particular. It can be something completely separate from an incident. So at any time, if there's something they're worried about, they're not happy about, they can speak to someone about that. So some of the ways that a young person could speak to someone or make a complaint might involve speaking with a key worker, with a senior youth worker, supervisor or a case manager. And if they don't feel that they get an answer from any of those people, they can continue to speak until they feel that someone has actually listened to them.
Me personally, I'd first go to like a trusted worker, and if that didn't happen, I'd go higher up to supervisor, and then if that or I didn't feel validated or listened to, I'd go to like the office of the guardian.
The way I'd go about it is I'd originally talk to my carer, see if they can resolve the issue. If not, I would speak to my social worker and see if it's resolved. If not, I'd try something else.
I think residential care is a place like no other. There's some not great days, but there's also lots of really positive things. And I think out of this, it's really important for young people to know that they can influence the adults around them and they can have a positive impact on making a change for the better.
The main thing I'd like other young people to know is that it's okay to stand up for yourself, and that if there's any issues at your house or where you live or anything you don't agree with, it's okay to tell someone.
What I wish I knew back then that I know now is that we have rights and that we are worthy of change.
I really want kids in care to know the fact that they can talk, and the fact that talking is going to make a bigger movement and it's going to make changes happen in the system for a better life in care.
And I think it's really important for young people to know that while it may feel like it's only one young person's voice, when all of those voices are joined together, then it's much louder and there's much more chance that things will change if there is something that we could be doing better.